What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new shark/water support that was announced in the upcoming Duelist set in the OCG, as well as a few loose end cards I wanted to grab since they weren't included in another video. I'm pretty excited about it because, as a lot of you know, fish/sharks is one of my main decks and one of the decks I'm actually playing IRL, so I'm really happy to see some support. And I have looked at these cards a bit, although I haven't really fully kind of taken them in, so it's going to be half reaction, half sort of opinion here as we go through them. If you guys do enjoy, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think these cards will help out with sharks? Do you think they're going to be sort of good but not, be enough to push it to the next level? You know how it goes. Let's jump into the video. Alright, so first off, we have your Shiro the Aqua. So just to clarify, this one is actually a jump promo in the OCG, but it doesn't really warrant a standalone video, so I'm throwing it in here, starting out with this one. We do have a level 4 water aqua type. It looks like a retrain of Maiden of the Aqua. I believe it has the same stats as well, so it's pretty cool to see that throwback. And it reads as follows. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Yumi in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can target one water monster in your graveyard, apply one of these effects, but you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except water monsters. Until the end phase, this card's level and name become that monster's. Or, if Umi is on the field, you can special summon that monster in defense position. You can only use each of these effects once per turn. So, it's a reviver if you have, Yumi on the field, or Umi, however you want to pronounce that. Or it can be a level modifier, which is definitely neat because there are some different level, especially with the shark decks in general. Like, if you're playing this within fish, you can modify this card's level, although I don't know how feasible or impactful that's going to be. I think, for the most part, the level modification part of sharks is taken care of. However, with the new archetype that sort of directly benefits from the Yumi cards and the field spells that can take their names, this definitely strikes me as a card that could have some potential, at least as a way to recover your resources and act as a reviver. We'll have to wait and see whether or not those decks actually come to fruition, but as far as sharks are concerned, I definitely think there are better options. Next up, we've got Kairushin Leviathan. This is from the Duelist pack, and obviously is a retrain of Kairushin. It is a really cool card. Like, I love the artwork on it. It's awesome to see Kairushin get a bit of an upgrade, and it does the following. Level 5 Water Sea Serpent. While Yumi is on the field, each player can only control one face-up non-water monster. If a player controls 2 or more face-up non-water monsters, they must send some to the graveyard, so they only control 1. So it's like a goes-in match, but it's searchable, and it doesn't impact water, so if you're playing it in water and you're not playing other cards, it doesn't really have that much of a detriment on you. During your main phase, you can add one Yumi, Kairushin Spell or Trap, or one Sea Stealth Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. So, this seems like a card that you're going to need to get out in some capacity. Now, a lot of the Yumi field spells that take the place of it do have an ability to let you lower the levels of monsters in your hand. Obviously, Legendary Ocean, but I'm fairly certain some of the other ones, like I think it's Pacifist, the Forgotten City, and there's a couple of other ones. They all have different effects that will sort of make it somewhat feasible to get this out, and it can definitely be problematic against the opponent, especially if they're playing a deck that is not water and does need to put extra things on the board. I mean, I just think of Thunder Reese is a deck that wants to have a lot of monsters out that are all wind, and this is going to make it hard for a deck like that to play. So it's really neat, and I think as a card, it's kind of, questionable design because that floodgate nature of it could become very problematic, but you do have to have Yumi on the field in order for this effect to be active, so I do think it has that balancing factor sort of built into it. Alright, on to the cards that were released from the Duelist pack last night. We've got a Bishark. This is a level 5 water fish. If all monsters you control are water monsters, min 1, you can special summon this card from your hand. Wait, I misspoke. Let's try this again. If all monsters you control are water monsters, min 1, you can not... Alright, so next up we've got a Bishark. This is one of the ones that was revealed last night. If all monsters you control are water monsters, you can not special summon monsters the rest of this turn except water monsters. Also, the next battle damage your opponent takes this turn from a battle involving your number monster and another monster is doubled. Also, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, you can add one level 3, 4, or 5 fish monster from your deck to your hand except a Bishark. You can only use this effect once per turn. If this card is used to the exceed summon of a number monster, it can be treated as a level 3 or 4 monster. That's a lot of words. So ultimately what this really does, to simplify it, is if you control a water monster and don't control any non-waters, you can special this card from your hand. You get to search a level 3, 4, or 5 fish from the deck and double the battle damage your opponent takes from your next number monster battle. Now, the current iterations of the Shark decks don't typically play a lot of number monsters. I mean, there are number monsters like Utopic Draco F-Zero, so I guess that's pretty cool, but generally you're going into things like Bahamut Shark. You're not, necessarily playing a ton of numbers. It seems like they might be trying to guide you a bit more towards playing number 101, which is neat if, he gets an upgrade or if these other cards sort of work well enough with him that he's worth the deck space. But overall, this is just a really good searcher that does a ton for the deck, because Buzzsaw Shark and Lantern Shark can be used as level 5 for an Xyz summon, so that's already an option you have there. On top of that, this card is just, a really good extender that just is a free resource and allows you to Xyz, but also go into link plays, and I'll talk about that in just a moment when we get towards the wrap-up portion of this video. But Abyss Shark is a big plus for me. I think that'll be a 3 of for the most part in the Shark decks, because it is central to the strategy. It actually recovers resources and can certainly help you get to your combo pieces faster. Next up is Crystal Shark, level 5 water. If it's in your hand or grave, you can target a water monster on the field. You special summon it, but you are locked into extra deck Xyz monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. Then the attack of whatever that target was becomes halved. So basically, if you have Buzzsaw, you target it, you special this, it becomes half its current attack, and then you're locked into Xyz for the rest of the turn. But generally speaking, you're only playing Xyz with a few exceptions. So this is not really a drawback, especially not in the same way that like the other Shark is, where it locks you into water, because you do technically want to be able to go into things like F-Zero if you can, but the positives you get from that card certainly outweigh the negatives, so that's, really a reason to kind of look at it. And you can only use this effect of Crystal Shark once per turn. If this card is used for the Xyz summon number monster, it can be treated as a level 3 or 4 monster. So it does have that level modifying effect only for numbers. You may end up having to slot number 101 back into the extra deck here just because of how effectively these cards can kind of make that live, and so maybe you do play it, and then it gives you, you can make Zeus with it and what have you. This card does banish itself when it leaves the field, but if you're using it for an Xyz summon, that doesn't really matter because it's going to end up being used as material. So overall, really good card as well. It doesn't have the deck searching power that Abyss does, but it does have recursion, as well as being a different named Shark that has that level manipulation. So both of these are really, really solid cards, in my opinion, to the overall strategy. Eternity of the Seven Emperors. You can target one Xyz monster you control that is a number monster with a number between 101 and 107 in its name, or has that monster with material, then activate one of these effects. Negate the effects of one face-up monster your opponent controls with equal or lower attack until the end of this turn. Detach all material from that target, then special summon one number Xyz monster from your graveyard. So if I'm reading this correctly, you need to use a number monster, and it needs to have a number between 101 and 107 in its name, or have that monster as material. So, interestingly enough, you can use this with something like F-Zero, I think, as long as it has one of those as material, although I'm not sure how frequently that would come up. What I was wondering is whether or not you could use it with, like, Zeus, for example, because it says a number monster with a number in its name, or that has that monster as material. So if you overlay Zeus on top of, say, 101 or something, then can you still use this effect using Zeus as the protection? Maybe? I'm not really sure. I don't know exactly the ruling. It's a bit weird in terms of wording, but it is non-targeting effect negation, so it does have some usefulness with, like, if you could use it with Zeus, you could negate Dragoon with it or something. I mean, there's maybe reasons to look at this as a possible one of, but I don't love it inherently off the top. It's decent, but it just doesn't feel like it's going to do enough to really advance the game state, especially because it is a hard once per turn, so it's not like, you can pull off a couple combos effectively with this. You're really just using it as a one-time stop, and in most cases, Imperm's going to be better. All this has going for it is that it doesn't target, but it is reliant on the attack specification. We've got Ascension of the Seven Emperors. Target one rank-up magic or Seven Emperors spell or trap, except this card, or one Variance spell or trap or rank-up magic quick play spell from your deck, and either add it to your hand or place it on top of the deck. So you can stack rank-up magic with this, which is kind of neat, I guess. If your opponent controls a monster special summon from the extra deck, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then send one rank-up magic spell from your hand to the graveyard. This card's effect becomes that spell's effect when that card is activated. So this is one I did see last night, and this basically allows you to use the rank-up magic, the 7th one, even if you draw into it or have it in your opening hand. So it's nice in the sense that it does reduce the likelihood of that card being a brick, deck, I suppose. And obviously, Rank Up Magic, the 7th one, is really good because it immediately can set up one of your Chaos Xyzs. This is a decent card. I don't think it's necessarily going to be something you play in Sharks, but I do think the card may have some potential, maybe in like the Utopia strategies, because like you can search the Rank Up Magic spells, and there might be some more impactful ways to combo this. It's okay. Being able to search Rank Up Magic stuff is definitely neat, and I'd have to double check if that Utopia spell, the one that's supposed to come out in the structure deck, is a quick play, because if it is, being able to get to it faster could be useful. So I would say this card tentatively gets a meh, but it seems like it definitely has at least some use in like maybe a niche strategy. And then we've got Variance Chaos Draw. Awesome artwork on there with Nash/Shark. To activate this card, you must draw it for your normal draw in the draw phase, reveal it, keep it revealed until the start of your main phase 1. At the start of your main phase 1 that same turn, activate one of these effects. So you either send a Rank Up Magic or 7 Emperor's normal spell, and this card takes that card's effect, or special summon up to 2 monsters from your deck, but negate their effects, then Xyz summon a number of Xyz using those monsters you control, including all the summon monsters. So this is essentially allowing you to play 4 copies of the 7th one, but it's still going to be reliant on you drawing it in your normal draw, which means it's incredibly situational and typically will end up being a dead draw in certain scenarios. However, you know, being able to draw into it and have extra copies if you do resolve it is decent, but that's, you know, assuming the opponent doesn't negate it or have a response to it. It's cute, I guess, and being able to summon any 2 monsters from the deck may help to like set up your graveyard with other stuff, but I think overall this card is going to be way too situational to see any play in any type of competitive strategy. And one card I did want to mention quickly, a Biskeeper. This is from Burst of Destiny, and as I've been playtesting with Sharks a lot more and looking for ways to improve the deck, this Link monster is actually really, really neat, and it looks like a card you might want to keep your eye on here, especially with these new cards that don't necessarily have those same drawbacks as some of the other Sharks do. If you use Buzzsaw or Lantern Shark, you're locked into Xyz for the rest of the turn, but if you play the combos right and you use this card with the new ones, you can make this have a free extender and potentially even special summon whatever card it is you search off of your other Shark. So there's a lot of reasons to keep an eye on a Biskeeper as a really cool sort of addition to the Shark strategy. I haven't had a chance to playtest with it a ton yet, but on paper, being able to banish a problem card and be an extender in its own right seems good, and I do think it looks a lot better as a result of those new cards. So to just sort of recap here, I am really excited about the fact that we are getting more Shark cards, and I do think some of them are going to be super impactful. I'm excited to try and maybe go on DevPro and see what I can do with these new cards and how they might change the strategy, increase consistency, and whether or not they help you to do better things than you're currently able to do, but we will see exactly what happens as we get a chance to playtest, and I think there may be 1 or 2 more cards we're still waiting on from the Duelist pack, including the cover card, which looks like a retrain of number 101, so we'll see what happens there. But if you guys do enjoy the video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.